welcome to another episode of Driven. I'm so excited to have somebody that pretty much knows everybody in this town, probably knows a lot of things about people in this town, and a lot of the things he shares with us, but I bet some of them he doesn't. Max Miller with the Cross Timbers Gazette, owner and publisher. Hi, Max.
Hello, Angela. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen you without a smile on your face.
That's just how God made me. So I feel very blessed. Believe you me, every day I feel blessed.
How long have you had the Cross Timbers Gazette? Because it's been a publication now for quite some time.
Yes, the newspaper is almost 42 years old, and I was blessed enough to buy it in 2006, which is almost 15 years ago, from LaRue Johnson. LaRue had it for a long time. A lot of people knew LaRue. She was a fixture in this community. But if you go back even further, it was started as the Double Oak Gazette by a group of volunteers in Double Oak who just wanted to put out a little newsletter to let people know what was going on. And so it obviously looks a lot different today, but that's thanks to all the great readers and advertisers that we have. So.
Okay, so then when you bought it, what were you doing before then? Like, were you writing for the paper, or do you have a background in journalism, or what were you doing before? And did you ever think you'd end up owning a newspaper?
No, I did not. So I, like most people, I was transferred down here on a corporate job. I worked for a company called Metro Traffic. They did traffic reports for radio and TV stations. And we just so happened to have been transferred down here. The office at that time for Metro Traffic was in Farmers Branch. And so I didn't know where to live, but the real estate agent that we had was based in Flower Mound, and she took us up to Lantana, which at the time in 2002 was hardly anything. So this is where my wife and I moved to back 18 years ago, almost 19 years ago. And
Are you still in the same house?
No. See, in Lantana, you have to move, at least a couple times. I mean, that's like a rule. If you live in Lantana long enough, you have to move, because your situation changes. Like, we had a couple of kids, so we moved into a bigger house. But we've only moved once in 18 years. That's not bad for Lantana.
Definitely.
Anyway, it's a great community. So I guess this is a long story short. A long story short, I got to know LaRue because I had a website called lantanalinks.com, which if you type in lantanalinks.com, it goes to the Cross Timbers Gazette. It's still technically around. And so I was doing that on the side just for fun, because I lived here and there was not really a local news source for Lantana. And I got to know LaRue because we get the Cross Timbers Gazette in the mail. And so she and I started just working together, and I would give her some stories to put in the paper and stuff. She'd help promote my website. And then about, after a couple of years, she called me up one day. It was just a weird thing. She said, "Hey, would you like to buy the newspaper?" At the time, we were pregnant with our first child. My wife worked in the home building industry. It was 2006. Obviously, things were going well with home building, but she really wanted to stay home with our son, our son that was going to be born the following spring. And so I said, "Hey, can I buy this newspaper?" And she looked at the paper, and the paper was very small. And she said, "Does this thing make any money?" And I said, "I don't think so, but it has a lot of potential because people love it. People have been reading this paper for decades." So LaRue said, "Hey, you can do it. You can do it, Max." I've never owned a business before at that time. I didn't know anybody locally. I would just drive to work every day down in Farmers Branch and Las Colinas later, where they moved their office. Once I bought that paper, it was like giving a key to the city, because you get to know everybody. I mean, you get to know everybody, and you get to realize what a wonderful area we live in. We are so blessed. We have a great community, people who care, people who are family friendly, family oriented, business oriented, a lot of entrepreneurs. So it just opened all these doors for me. And that was, like I said, 2006. And I got to retire from my corporate job after a couple of years of owning the paper, because the paper kept getting bigger and bigger. A special shout out to the Flower Mound Chamber of Commerce that I joined back in 2008, because that is a great way to meet people. I highly recommend it if you own a business here. It's a great place to meet people and to be able to really connect to people in your community. I never had to hire a salesperson. I just do it myself. I mean, it's crazy when I look at this newspaper and I think, how did this happen? How did it become what it is today, the largest locally owned newspaper in all of Denton County? and probably one of the largest locally owned papers anywhere. I mean, it just shows you how great this community is. So we're very blessed.
We're very blessed to have you.
But I never thought, I always wanted to be a DJ, and I was a DJ on the radio, not like one of those DJs with the, the mixing and scratching. But I wanted to be a radio DJ, and I did that for a while. And I was a traffic reporter, and I was a manager at the traffic reporting service. But owning a newspaper, I never would have guessed. It's amazing where life will take you.
All right, Max, we want to know more about you. Okay, maybe some things that people don't know. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1982 Chevrolet Malibu. So
okay.
It would have been 4 years old. It was just a 4-door sedan, nothing fancy. For my second car was a 1974 Chevrolet Laguna. If you know what a Laguna is.
I don't know what that is.
You're too young. You don't know what a Laguna is. Laguna had these white wall tires. It was a 2-door sedan, and it weighed about 3 tons. It got like 10 miles to the gallon. And that thing was, I could always find it in the parking lot. It was white and red.
I've got to look that up now.
Yeah, check it out.
I will.
It's rare.
So what's your dream car? I know you've got a family, so.
Minivan. I mean, I just bought a used, it's only 2 years old though. Then I always try to buy used cars because that's a smart way to go. But I bought a 2018 Genesis, what's it called? An S80, something 80, G80, S80. Anyway, it's a Genesis 80. And it's an awesome sedan. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Okay, cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs. Love dogs.
Are you more of a sunrise or a sunset person?
Well, I never see the sunrise, so I guess I got to say sunset. I just sleep in too late. I stay up too late at night.
Me too. What are your 2 favorite snacks?
Well, anything with peanut butter, because I love peanut butter.
What's your go-to peanut butter? There's so many to choose from.
Oh, I'm a Jif Crunchy person myself.
Crunchy, okay.
Yes, I love that. And you know what? It's good for you as long as the scoop is not like larger than your fist. I think it's probably
So you just eat it off the spoon too?
I do. Every morning for breakfast, I have my big scoop of peanut butter.
Who's had the biggest impact on your career?
Well, I guess LaRue Johnson would probably, if it wasn't for LaRue, then I would never have found this opportunity, or this opportunity wouldn't have found me. She was an awesome lady, and I think about her often. She left this world 4 years ago. The fact that she could have sold this paper to anybody, and she chose me. And I think that's just incredible. And it's just, I think about all the things that had to happen for me to move here, to move to Lantana specifically, to get the paper in the mail, to pick up the phone one day and call LaRue just out of the blue. Also, my former boss at Metro Traffic, Mike, when the first day I met him back in 2002, he said, "Max, you're going to go far." I was young, way young back then. He said, "You're going to be very successful." And I've never heard somebody out of the blue to say that to me who barely even knows me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today on Driven. If you need local news, if you need updates, if you need advertising, contact Max Miller with the Cross Timbers Gazette. If you need insurance, auto, home, commercial, I'm your girl. And Max, thank you so much.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Your time today. I know you're on a deadline as usual, so I will let you go. But thank you everybody for tuning in to Driven, and stay driven.